You're exhausted from being the one who's doing the work on this relationship. You're the one reading the books and watching the videos, and you're the one bringing things up and trying to address issues. And after a certain point, you might be beginning to wonder, is it worth it? Or am I being taken advantage of? So today I'm giving you 30 brutal lessons so that you make sure that you're making any decisions you have coming forward based on a place of feeling grounded. You can regain your footing and then make a decision from a place of strength versus a place of reactivity, resentment, or frustration. My name is Laura Silverstein. I am a licensed couples therapist, and all of this advice is based on the Gottman method, nonviolent communication, attachment theory, my observations of my own couples, my staff, and what they're learning with their couples. So this advice is evidence-based advice, and I'm going to go quickly and give you things that you can actually take home starting right away. So lesson number one. So lesson number one is stop waiting for them to be the first one to change. This is the biggest trap because somebody has to be the person who's shifting the pattern of the relationship, and it can be you. And if it's you, then you can rest assured knowing that that change is going to happen instead of waiting for it. Okay. Lesson number two. Lesson number two is you have more power than you think you do. Obviously can't change your partner, but what you can absolutely do is influence your relationship in a positive and healthy way. That's why it's so good that you're watching this video. Number three, lesson number three is focus on what you can control, not what you can't control. So what can you control? You can control your reaction, feeling calm, using your language. What you can't control is their mood, their defensiveness, or the level of motivation that they have to work on relationship health. Okay, lesson number four. Lesson number four, ask for what you need directly. Clear requests are the quickest and easiest way to get what you need. When you hint at things or express them indirectly, you're much less likely to get it. I get it that you want your partner to understand, and you've probably said it a million times. However, when you ask for it clearly, directly, and respectfully, you're taking charge over what you can do to make your needs known in a way that you're more likely to get the thing that you're actually looking for. Lesson number five. Lesson number five, if you give your partner what they want, they're more likely to give you what you want. Okay, so lesson five is about generosity because it creates a norm in a relationship where everybody's being a little more giving. Lesson number six, assume positive intent. If you interpret everything as malicious, then you're much more likely to get a defensive response from your partner. If you give your partner the benefit of the doubt, you're much more likely to have a positive conversation. Lesson number seven. Lesson number seven is stop keeping score. We know from the research this is a clear risk for relationship dissatisfaction and divorce. And so instead of keeping score, what you can do is remember that you're doing invisible labor and your partner is also doing invisible labor. So keeping score doesn't even work because most of it is really not quantifiable. It's better to focus on just going down your own to-do list, getting things done, and feeling good about it. Okay, lesson number 8, small pleasantries. Okay, what we know is that when we do small things like kisses of the forehead and hugs and positivity, that creates a really positive vibe in the home. And the more that you do things like that, you would be astounded how big of a difference it makes in managing some of the negativity or the difficult times that come up, because you have this baseline of like money in the emotional bank account. So adding positivity into your life. And the hardest part about this is to do it even if you're a little bit annoyed. If your partner did something annoying yesterday, you can switch the tone in the room by still saying good morning and having a good day. Okay, lesson number 9. Lesson number 9 is to focus on the quality of your physical intimacy instead of frequency. When intimacy is coupled with things like resentment and pressure, I guarantee you it's not going to be fun and enjoyable and something that you're both looking forward to. When it feels casual and safe, then people are much less likely to shut down. We also know that focusing on pleasure instead of orgasms will reduce initiation anxiety. Let me know if you want a whole video about this, because I think it's a really good one. Okay, lesson number 10, shared values matter more than personality. Don't worry about if you're an extrovert or an introvert. What we really want to know is whether or not you guys will show up for one another when times get hard, and that you value and respect each other for what you think and believe. Okay, lesson number 11. All right, lesson number 11 is don't compare your relationship with other people. I can tell you more than anybody that there are always skeletons in people's closets, and what you see out loud, what you see in public is not what's happening. Love is hard. Relationships are hard. Everybody has their troubles, okay? So what we know is that the grass is always greener where we water it. So stop comparing yourself to your neighbors. All right, number 12. Okay, lesson number 12 is one of my favorites. You fell in love with a knucklehead, and so did I. Remember that you're imperfect, your partner is imperfect, and that's great news, because nobody has to be perfect to be in a happy, healthy, joyful relationship. Take the pressure off, and you'll both be happier for it. Lesson number 13. Open-ended questions are the quickest and easiest way to avoid roommate syndrome. What that means is asking little things like, what's on your mind? Or what are you thinking about lately? Do you have anything you're worried about? That opens up interesting conversations. Interesting conversations lead to trust. Interesting conversations lead to intimacy, and also reduce the feeling that you're just two roommates managing a household together. Okay. Lesson number 14 is let your partner have the last word every now and then. Okay. This isn't all the time, but what is the absolute quickest and easiest way to end a fight? Let your partner have the last word. I guarantee you that there are going to be so many times that you guys are fighting about dumb stuff, but both of you are a little bit too stubborn to just let the fight end. But if you let your partner have the last word, then you also get to go on and just have fun with whatever you have left in the rest of your day. Okay. Lesson number 15. Lesson number 15 is schedule fun. Don't just wait for it. You have to put it on the calendar, or it's not going to happen. It's going to get filled in by other obligations and boring stuff. If you want, take a look at my date night planner, which is in the description. Okay. Lesson number 16, take care of yourself first. Self-care is relationship care. So it's really important that you remember that you're probably taking care of a million people. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing the fun things that you like? I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's taking a walk, listening to music, watching cat videos, but how often are you doing something that is only for you and no one else benefits from that? Okay. Lesson number 17. Lean into your partner's interests. Even if you don't find it interesting, the more that you can join them with what their hobbies are, then they're more likely to lean into what your hobbies are. And what you might find is that even if you don't enjoy it, you still have a shared activity, but much more likely is you're going to find that you do have more fun shared activities that you hadn't even enjoyed yet together. Okay. Lesson number 18. Share your inner world first. You don't have to sit and wait for your partner to open up and be vulnerable. You can start with really small baby steps of just sharing how your day was and what's going on in your life, as opposed to just logistics. And this is one of the easiest ways to just build trust and connection. Lesson 19 is that emotional intimacy doesn't have to be trauma bonding, okay? You don't have to talk about your childhood injuries in order to have that vulnerability that will bring you close. Sometimes intimacy is just sitting on a couch together instead of being in separate rooms, and that's all it really takes, is to make sure that your lives are intertwined. Lesson number 20 is hire help if you can. If you can afford it, it's probably cheaper than couples therapy. And number 2, we know that chronic stress kills relationships, because when we're stressed and tensed, we're not as good at communicating with kindness. There's a very clear correlation. So reduce friction whenever you can and try to delegate. Lesson number 21 is to click the like button. Why am I asking you to do this? Obviously, because I want to know whether or not these videos are helpful to you. It takes me a long time to get them out there. And if nobody really likes them, I'm not going to keep making them. If they are helpful for your relationship, please let me know, so that'll motivate me. Okay. Lesson number 22. Don't ever lose your sense of humor. You need the endorphins. You need all of those good hormones that go to your brain when you laugh. It's fun. And not to take yourself too seriously is the best gift that you can give to yourself and to your relationship. Lesson number 23, brush up on your communication skills. So we can't expect great results with poor tools. You want to use really evidence-based tools that actually lead to resolving conflict, building intimacy, rebuilding trust, and check out any of my videos. I have different videos on all those different topics where I actually tell you word for word, use this script. This is what you should say to empathize. This is what you should say to bring up something that's challenging. Okay? Brush up on your communication skills. Lesson 24 is that your tone matters more than you think it does. You can say the right thing and think that you're doing something positive for your relationship, but your tone might be saying something that's a little less kind, a little less generous because of your facial expression and because of your tone of voice. So check yourself. Sometimes it's just 2 deep breaths before you say whatever it is that you want to say so that it can come across with warmth instead of an edge. Lesson number 25 is to stay curious. Curiosity is the cure for boredom. So remember that your partner keeps learning and growing no matter how long you guys have been together. You still have things to learn from your partner. Your partner still has things to learn from you. And when you have curiosity, both of you feel smart and interesting in the relationship, which is an important part of intellectual intimacy, which is the third kind of intimacy. Okay. Lesson number 26, you don't need both people to be motivated to change the relationship at exactly the same time. So even though you might be doing a little bit more work now in this season of life, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be forever. It might just be for now. And it might be that watching a video like this can jumpstart the shift and then you both feel reignited. Okay. Lesson number 27 is to repair quickly. The sooner you can catch something, the less likely it's going to come out with an edge. We talked about how much tone matters. Well, the quicker you repair, the easier it will be to say, hey, that didn't feel so good. Instead of if you've been sitting on it for a month and they're like, man, if you've been sitting on this for a month, it must be awful. And they're more likely to get defensive. You're much more likely to come across as critical, which is not what you want. Okay. Lesson number 28, cherish the love that you have right in front of you. So the more that you can focus on positivity instead of negativity, the more you'll see that there is lots and lots of good stuff that you have about yourself, about your partner, about your relationship, and about your life together. But if you're so focused on the negativity, then you're going to be taking that good stuff for granted. And you can't really afford to do that. It's just kind of sad that you're missing out on the things that are already there. Okay. Lesson number 29. Lesson number 29, never threaten the relationship in the heat of an argument. Okay. So try not to threaten breakup or divorce, because what's going to happen is in that moment, you might be saying that because basically what you're trying to say is, I need you to take me seriously. And that's usually why people kind of up the ante with those kinds of fighting words. However, what's going to happen is when you up the ante like that, then it can land as a betrayal. And both of you are going to feel like you lose your footing and you lose a trust and you lose that foundation of trust, which would ultimately cause more problems and not get what you're looking for in that statement. Okay. And lesson number 30 is never give up on love. You deserve love. If this isn't the right relationship for you, you will find it. You deserve it. Know that you're worthy. Look at you. You stayed here for the whole all 30 lessons. So I know that you're committed to self-growth. What I recommend for the next video is my journaling series. And I do them live, but you can watch the video. So go ahead and look in that box there. And thanks so much for listening with me today.